best all season long when their back has been up against it. Well, their back's up against it tonight, Dave.
Gary Fisher now for the Red Wings will snap it ahead. Darren McCarty, Chris Draper, Kirk Maltby starting out against the big line of Naslund, Morrison, and Bertuzzi for the Vancouver Canucks. As it's deflected by McCarty deep into the zone, as John Butchergrass said during his segment of the opening of the show. Wings have done a great job against Bertuzzi and company, limiting them to just 1 goal in the last 3 games total. And that was a Bertuzzi goal that was scored in Game 3. Lidstrom hit hard by Bertuzzi. Morrison will play it back into his own zone. Jovanovski had it slapped away momentarily by Larionov. Now the Canucks get it to center ice. Here comes Trevor Letowski. Knocked off his stick, following up his Castle. Sends it to the net. A save by Hasek. Gave up a rebound, but it's cleared and the Wings come out. Could have a 3-on-2 here as Holmstrom dumps it along the near boards. Jovanovski gets there just ahead of Larionov. Here's Holmstrom in on the forecheck. Loose puck in front of Cloutier. And a backhand shot. Stop, rebound, score! Larionov from his knees made this play, and Detroit scores just 1:05 into the first period.
Some strong offensive zone pressure by the Red Wing. Cloutier makes the shoulder of Cloutier.
Here's Olesen sliding it across. Now Olesen slides it ahead. It's deflected by Fedorov deep into the zone. And the play whistled down.
Well, Thomas Holmstrom usually camps out in front of NHL goaltenders, mostly in the power play. He gets slashed, he gets hacked, he gets cross-checked, and he scores a lot of goals in the seat of his pants, but usually they're banked in off of him. And you see his 17th career playoff goal was scored once again as he's sprawled on the ice. This time it wasn't a banker, it was great focus as he stayed with the shot. Larionov took the swipe. Holmstrom on his feet from the Southwest Airlines goal camp. Thomas Holmstrom has given the Red Wings a 1-goal lead.
And you mentioned Holmstrom's second of these playoffs. He was given credit for the first goal the Red Wings scored in Game 5. It was originally announced as Fedorov's, as the Red Wings, including the goal that was just scored, have now outscored Vancouver 9-1 in this series in the first period of play. Not what the Canucks were looking for, Jim.
Precisely what the Canucks did not want to have happen. They wanted Cloutier to have a sound start to this game. They wanted to strike first. The sign, the moniker, the word around the Canuck dressing room is to believe. Coming into this game, they've lost a little faith in their team, and that's no way to improve your believing, having the Red Wings strike just after the first minute of the hockey game.
Fedorov slams it into the Canuck zone. It's taken there by Matthias Ohlund, and Ohlund will bring it out now for the Canucks. Their crowd still behind them. As Trevor Linden dumps it along the boards, wide of Hasek, picked up by Chabarov. Chabarov going wide, dumps it back along the boards now for Matt Cook, who, believe it or not, is the leading Vancouver scorer in this series with 4 points. Linden with a big hit on Duchesne, and then Jason Williams is rocked as well. As Yzerman hands it off, Williams tried to send it on the far side, intercepted. Vancouver trying to catch the Wings on a change. Naslund with a question.
He has been just tremendous in this series, tremendous this season, coming back off a serious injury last year. And I guess we could say, David, he has been tremendous and a fierce competitor his entire career.
Here is Maltby taking a hit as he flips it back now into the Vancouver zone. Jovanovski has it. Holmstrom with a goal just 1:05 in, assisted by Igor Larionov, 41 years of age, still not only playing, which is a miracle in and of itself, but contributing. And Chelios in that 40-year-old category as well. As LaChance now sends it ahead. Daniel Sedin, the winger of the Sedin identical twins. His brother Henrik is the center that wears number 33, but that big line coming back out for Mark Crawford. Duchesne knocks it free. Here is Fedorov. He is challenged by Brendan Morrison. And now Chelios gets it to Brett Hull, who smartly clears it out to center ice. Here is Dandino, nearly set it up for Sergei Fedorov as Marcus Naslund had his stick knocked out of his hands, and Ohlund has to spin away from Brett Hull. Red Wings are up 3-2, and they have one of the best playoff goal scorers in history, Brett Hull, without a goal yet. Devereaux hands it off. Here is Hull. Hull to Fedorov. Fedorov, a nifty little drop pass attempt there for Hull, and it hit the skate of one of the Vancouver players. And now Bertuzzi will send it deep into the Detroit zone. Chelios. he knew Naslund was coming.
He thought it was Bertuzzi, though.
Yeah.
He's seeing Bertuzzi in his sleep.
Now Chelios will lift it back into the Canuck zone. Jan Hlavich who dressed the first 4 games of the series, was replaced by Ruutu in Game 5. Hlavich is back in the lineup, and he has the puck. Hlavich into the Detroit zone. Bouncing puck toward Dominik Hasek is knocked down, and it's recovered by the wings to the line. Murray Barron unable to hold it in as he was challenged there by Robitaille, who drops it back for Dandenault. Now Duchesne ahead for Holmstrom. Holmstrom sends it in deep. Cloutier comes out to play it. Here comes Robitaille. Puck comes free. Igor Larionov scores! Larionov with an assist and now a goal. And Detroit leads it 2-0.
Well, it's the same trio for the Red Wings once again on the forecheck. Holmstrom in on the puck. Makes Cloutier hurry his pass. A hurried pass is usually a...
Could have certainly stopped the Larionov goal, but for his team to kind of let him down the way they did on the first goal is not a way for him to get his confidence in the game either.
It might be a situation where Mark Crawford is just saying, look, we're down 2 goals. We still have a lot of game left here, boys. I mean, you know,
Here is Trevor Linden, speaking of a lot of game, getting a chance, and Hasek had to be quick with the glove, although I don't think Linden got everything on that.
No,
Centering attempt here for Chabarov. He'll roll it back. Linden has it again. First real sustained pressure by the Canucks, and they need it. They're down by 2. Olin. Puck rolls off his stick, and then it's cleared by Shanahan. Here's a steal by Yzerman. Yzerman waits, flips it toward the net, and Skudra had to scramble as the puck went wide. Here's a shot by Todd Warner, and a save made by Hasek now as Chelios is wrapped up. Makes the outlet pass, though, and the wings. Maltby clears it ahead for McCarty, and McCarty lays it off the boards deep into the Vancouver zone. Draper and Jovanovski come together. Now McCarty gets to it. Now, you know the Canucks are going to try to play even more physical and aggressive, Jim, but the last thing they want to do now is put Detroit on the power play.
well, the one thing they have to do is hit to create turnovers, not hit for the sake of hitting. You aren't going to intimidate the Red Wings, that's for sure. You have to hit, create a turnover, beat the Red Wing player back into the play, get some scoring chances, and get the puck behind Dominik Hasek. And that has not been an easy thing for the Vancouver Canucks to do ever since Game 3 in this series.
2 veteran referees, Bill McCreary and Mick Magoo, are handling this game with Lonnie Cameron and Brad Lazarevich as the linesman. Here is Draper from outside the blue line to make sure that Scudra's in the game, and he gets a round of applause. Murray Barron dumps it in. Now Hasek wandering out. Here's Bertuzzi, tried to get it in front. It hit a skate. Lidstrom around the boards. Olin holds it in, but it's recovered by Lidstrom, who clears it ahead now. And the Red Wings have 4 red jerseys across center ice, but Lidstrom decides to just dump it in. Murray Barron back to get it, hands it off now for Naslund. Naslund is lined up by Boyd Devereaux, who gave him a hit. And here comes the line again that has accounted for both Detroit goals. Bertuzzi, long pass. Morrison sets it up nicely. Naslund back to Morrison, looking for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi against Larionov. Now Jovanovski plays it along the end boards. Red Wings get there, and Brett Hall, very calm under pressure, just plays it around the boards as he saw Vancouver was making a change. And Lidstrom now for Olsson. Olsson plays it back into the Vancouver zone. This is going to be icing. After giving up 1 goal, it was Igor Larionov that made it 2 goals given up by Cloutier, and for Dan Cloutier, the end of his night.
Cloutier cannot recover in time to get back to the net, and that's the 2nd Red Wing goal of the hockey game.
So it is a soft shot that beats him, but he's got to scramble back. I don't think he certainly expected his own teammate to come back behind him there and play that puck. And he never got himself set. So a goaltender that's moving has holes. Here is Sopel with a shot into the glove of Hasek. He'll hold it there as Matt Cook and Fedorov come together, and the Canucks showing a little bit of tenacity, and Mick Magoo has spotted something. He's going to call 1 penalty for roughing.
You're just thinking psychologically, I've got to get my guys believing again. I'll get Scudra in, no pressure on him. You just go and play, Peter. And Dan Cloutier, I think, would have a real low confidence level. Not that he played poorly necessarily, but the fact that goals are finding the back of the net, goaltenders always start to second-guess themselves.
Vancouver Canucks could draw on some experience from earlier in the series in this building when Detroit had a 2-0 lead in Game 4. Vancouver did come back and tie that game before the end of the 2nd period. Detroit went on to win it 4-2. But in 2 other games, Detroit has blown 1-goal lead, so they haven't necessarily done a great job protecting leads, with the exception, of course, of Game 5 when they scored 4 in the 1st period. Here is Naslund now. Naslund out near the line, hands it off for Jovanovski. He'll wrist it toward the net. Score! It may have been deflected, but a power play goal has cut the Detroit lead in half.
Defenseman Chris Chelios was in front of the net. So was big forward Todd Bertuzzi. And that puck may have been redirected. I don't know if it was Bertuzzi or it was Chelios trying to prevent the Jovanovski shot from getting to the net. You see Bertuzzi, 44. There's Chelios. It almost looks like it went off of Chelios' stick. We're going to get a better look here. There's Chelios. I think he was off his shin pad there, David.
You're right.
Bertuzzi gave Chelios just a little shot from behind. And when he gave Chelios the shot, his positioning moved him in an area in front of Dominik Hasek where the puck hit Chelios as he's being tended to with a gash on the bridge of the nose there. Went off his shin pad, changed direction right back through the wickets of Dominik Hasek. And what a critical goal for the Vancouver Canucks as they have cut the Red Wing lead in half.
So Jovanovski will get the goal. He took the shot. That'll be his first goal of this series, his third career playoff goal from Naslund and Bertuzzi. And just what the power plays, not a huge factor, but Colorado just one goal in a whole bunch of time, over 160 minutes. And Felix Potvin doing again this year what he did last year. He had back-to-back shutouts when his team was down 3-1. And of course the 1-0 shutout in overtime in Game 5 the other night. Of course the Game 6 today in Los Angeles. Here come the Canucks now with a sense of life. And don't forget, Dan Cloutier could come back in. It's not like a pitcher that goes out of a baseball game that can't come back. As the crowd appreciates the work of this line with Todd Warner throwing a couple of big hits. He's the winger with the Sedin twins. And here comes a chance. Edmund Sedin, score! We've got a tie game! This is only the 8th playoff game ever in this building, which opened in the mid-90s. And so far, Vancouver's won only one home playoff game here. But after 2 goals, chase Dan Cloutier, Peter Skudra comes in. He hasn't really been tested. But Vancouver has taken over with a power play goal by Jovanovski. And just 44 seconds later, Henrik Sedin's second goal of this series, his second career playoff goal. His first one was the game winner, of course, in overtime in Game 1. We are tied at 2.
Sometimes things come too easily to a hockey team, as they did for the Red Wings early in the game. Then you sit back a little bit. The Canucks pressing. And because of their pressure, and because the Red Wings may have been back on their heels a little bit, thinking it was going to be an easy night, the Vancouver Canucks have tied this hockey game. And we've got ourselves a barn burner going. And again, Mark Crawford, pretty good move, putting Skudra in. Not only for the goaltending situation, folks. You have to understand this. It's for the entire psyche of the team. It's not a knock against Cloutier. I don't think if you looked at the goals, you could say, well, he was dreadful on either goal. But Mark Crawford, knowing he had to do something to change the thought process of his team, put Skudra in. Obviously, the players believe in Skudra. He had a .907 save percentage regular season. That's pretty good. And he played well in the one game he did play in Detroit. So things have turned around mightily for the Vancouver Canucks.
And Skudra was unbeaten in his last 5 decisions during the regular season. So when he did come in, he delivered. Just past the halfway mark of period 1 here of Game 6, Western Conference quarterfinals, as that pass goes all the way down the ice. So would not have been icing anyway, as Hasek getting the sarcastic cheer from the fans here in Vancouver.
They are noisy tonight, David.
How quickly things change in this game from one game to the next and within the game itself. The two 25s come together as McCarty bumps with Castles, and Castles able to get control. Makes a dangerous move at the side of his own net, but got it to Letowski. Now it's gloved aside by Yuri Fisher, and a big hit by McCarty on Jan Hlavich over in front of that Vancouver bench. A giveaway by Detroit. Here is Morrison with it. Morrison drives a shot, and that ricocheted wide of Hasek, who was down thinking there was a deflection. Jason Williams, a soft pass ahead for Devereaux. Devereaux's got good speed. Olin, though, plays the angle well. And the puck recovered by the Canucks. Morrison again. Ahead for Naslund. Look out, he just got his head up. But it creates a 2-on-1. Morrison for Bertuzzi. And the wing defenseman got a stick on it. Jovanovski with a shot. That is blocked. And Chelios lets it roll between his feet to center ice, and Brett Hull plays it back into the Canucks zone. Bobrovsky back to get it. Igor Larionov is out there. Larionov will chase it down. He has an assist and a goal. But he lost a stick.
That was Chelios' blade.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Here is Robitaille. Tried to center. It was deflected by Jovanovski and recovered by Brendan Morrison, who reverses it back. Jovanovski pass up the middle. Here is Daniel Sedin. Sedin taken off the puck there by Tomas Holmstrom. As it comes back to Igor Larionov, a flip pass now for Robitaille. Sopel tied up there by Robitaille, and now Olin trying to clear. Moving in, Lidstrom held it in, but it came right to Olin. Moves it now to Sopel, and here come the Canucks the other way. The two top scoring teams in the National Hockey League, and although defense and goaltending is usually the norm in the playoffs, we've had 4 goals already. 2 apiece. Puck loose in front of Hasek. He helps his own cause by clearing, but not out of the zone. Now it's tipped by Hasek just over the stick of Henrik Sedin, and he overskates it. Now Holmstrom fakes one way, goes the other. Did not get it by Sopel. At the line, it's gloved down and now recovered by Holmstrom and cleared away. And are we going to have a penalty on Holmstrom for closing his hand on the puck? Well, this crowd was stunned, but they are back alive.
Quickly as he does. Sometimes that is allowed, sometimes it is not. Bill McCreary did not allow Thomas the luxury of making that little move with the puck in his hands. So the Canucks with a golden opportunity to take the lead in this game, Dave.
Here come the Wings. They have a shorthanded goal in this series. Yzerman a shot. Scooge with a save. The Canucks were 3 for 20 on the power play in this series coming into this game, but they already have struck once. So they've got newfound confidence. Here is Naslund, who has said he must be better and produce, much like his counterpart, number 19, the captain of the Red Wings, Yzerman, has. It is still in behind Hasek. Now it comes out. Morrison winds up, drives the shot, missed the net. And it's cleared all the way down the ice. Jovanovski's got Fedorov right on his tail. And Jovanovski will play it around for Brendan Morrison, the former Michigan star. Now Naslund slides it across. Fedorov will get there. Intercepted by Naslund. Hands it off for Castles. Castles trying to find some room. Plays it along the boards behind Hasek. Bertuzzi tried to center, but a nifty read there by the youngster Yuri Fisher to clear. Brent Sopel out of his own zone for Olin. Olin across the line, sends it across, intercepted Maltby. May have a chance to break here for the speedy Draper. Draper up the left side at an angle, drives the shot. Save made by Skudra, and he covers up. Let's get to our Bud Light.
Butterfly, nothing was going through that goaltender, folks. Draper let it go, hit him right in the crest.
Skudra, good stop there on a Yuri Fisher blast. Now Sopel bringing it back for the Canucks as you see the time remaining on this power play. Now it is slapped away by Chelios. Oland able to hold it in. Now it comes to Brendan Morrison. Morrison waits, and the shot was blocked by Chelios. Chelios follows it up. Plays it around for Maltby. Sopel coming in from the point. Maltby gets a skate on it. Holmstrom getting set to come out of the box. Now the puck comes free, and it's ripped along the boards, but Hlavich held it in. Now Maltby tries to clear again. It hits a leg. Now Fisher with it, and the Red Wings back at full strength. Now ahead for Jason Williams. He dumps it across. Chabarov is there. Williams with a big hit. Now Olin didn't handle it cleanly, but recovers very nicely. Boy, he faked the pass and then just darted between a couple of Red Wing players. Now Chabarov into the zone with speed. Backhands it right into the glove of Dominik Hasek. Well, the Vancouver fans were stunned at the start. How about this Red Wing bench? It's a 2-2 game, 4:44 remaining in the first.
Cost attitude coming in here to Vancouver, and it's that attitude that has enabled that very highly skilled hockey player to excel throughout his career.
Playing on this line with Fedorov and Shanahan. Shanahan, the only player in this series with at least a point in every game. Leading the way for Detroit with a goal and 7 assists. Yzerman with 3 goals and 4 assists. Fedorov has really come on after getting only 1 goal, no assists in the first 2 games of the series. As Fedorov now hangs onto the puck, very reluctant to give it up. Not forced to here. Makes a little move on Olin. Olin positioned well, centering pass though, and it came to the side of the net taken by Chabarov. Baroff looking to come out with it, plays it off the boards. Moving up was Olsen. He held it in. Here's Fedorov again. Against Sopel, spins around, still controls, and tried to set up Shanahan. It rolls to Lidstrom. Side of the net. And Yzerman couldn't get a stick on it for the redirect. And that line will go to the bench as the Canucks come up the ice. Trevor Linden backhands it in. Hasek able to stop it there. Here's Lidstrom with it now as Mark Crawford gets his big line out there. Probably the matchup he would like is to have Morrison's line out here against Hull and Larionov and Devereaux, although this has been the line that's scored the 2 Detroit goals. Physically, it's probably the best matchup. Here is Jovanovski, hands it off, a wrist shot here, and it missed the net as Naslund trying to pick the corner, and back comes Brett Hull. Hull slides it across for Devereaux, slapped away by Bertuzzi. Devereaux, whoa, what a hit he takes, but he gets the puck in deep. Here's Larionov again. Devereaux going for the front of the net. Larionov still holding, still controlling, just has it hooked away, and a penalty coming. Boy, Igor Larionov has games they have scored on their first power play. So let's see what happens here with a 2-2 game.
Detroit won a series at a 25% clip in the power play.
Yes,
and that ain't bad, folks.
Not at all. Mark Crawford has to be proud of the way his team has responded after falling behind 2-0.
Better to fall behind early because you have the entire game to get it back, and that is usually the first message out of a coach's mouth. Look, boys, we're okay. We just have to settle down, play our game. And as we mentioned, the Canucks have scored a ton of goals this year, so 2 goals is certainly not an insurmountable lead to have against them. They did settle down, scored a power play goal, scored the equalizer, and now the play is settled in where both teams are a little more cautious defensively than they were the first 10 minutes of the game, where they were both kind of free-wheeling. And that's good news for the goaltenders. Maybe not the same entertainment value, but goalies like to see everybody back in the back check.
Fedorov with a drive, and he broke the stick right in half at the shaft. As he was winding up for that laser shot of his, Shanahan feeds it back to the point. Here's Lidstrom with it. Shanahan again. Lidstrom sends it to the corner. Holmstrom goes back to the point. Shanahan was there. Brendan Shanahan, he winds up, fakes, now lets it go. That hit a leg. Fedorov picks it up. Out to Shanahan again. He slides it across now. Lidstrom back to Shanahan. Shanahan to Fedorov, front of the net, and Holmstrom was there, and he is absolutely decked by Murray Barron, and another penalty coming. Boy, Detroit might want to give up the puck here to have more time with a 2-man advantage, but they're going to take the shot that is blocked. And the penalty coming here against Murray Barron. I mean, he got 2 minutes worth, I'll tell you that.
Maybe. I tell you what, Mark Crawford doesn't like the call, but it is the correct call by referee Bill McCreary. Todd Bertuzzi has looked like a locomotive out here tonight, banging and crashing, running into everything with a red jersey on it. Murray Barron had his sights set on Thomas Holmstrom in front of the net. There's Fedorov. There's Holmstrom trying to tip. Boom. That's the cross check right across the jaw. And I don't care how tough you are and how much punishment you're used to taking. Look at that head snap. That has to hurt. And Murray Barron can be thankful that Holmstrom was able to get up to his feet. It certainly could have been a lot more than 2 minutes.
So there's 47 seconds remaining in the Brendan Morrison penalty. Now remember, in game 2, or rather game 3 of this series here, it was exactly 47 seconds of a 5-on-3 that Mark Crawford and company had. And you know what Mark Crawford's upset about here? The stalling, the delaying that Scotty Bowman is doing. He's allowing his players that he wants to have play on this power play to continue to stay on the ice. And of course, that was one of the points that general manager Brian Burke brought up when he had his little press conference in Detroit earlier in the series. Face-off win by the Canucks. Robitaille trying to force Olin to give the puck up, which he does now, and Lidstrom able to get to it. Flip pass in deep. Robitaille is there. Plays it back to the point for Lidstrom. 2-man advantage Detroit. It goes in deep. Larionov sends it back for Lidstrom. Lidstrom sends it across. One-timer, Yzerman saves. Skudra, goal, rebound.
Maybe. What a good save by Peter Skudra. One-timer off the stick of Stevie Yzerman as the Red Wings move the puck around very briskly on this power play. Yzerman going for a rest. No, Yzerman's coming back onto the ice. No, that time he's waved off by McCreary. Says you get one change, Scotty. Yzerman was on his way to the bench. McCreary is making Yzerman go to the bench. Robitaille will stay on.
You know what? When there's Brian Burke, who held that press conference and went through a whole list of his concerns about the way his team was being treated. Fedorov was actually motioning to Yzerman, no, you stay on the ice. But Yzerman got close enough to the bench. McCreary said, nope, that constitutes a substitution, and you're not coming back. Here is Hull. He lets the puck go for Fedorov. 20 seconds remaining on the 5-on-3. Pass off the near boards now for Lidstrom. He chased it down. Lidstrom top of the circle. Sends it deep for Larionov. Larionov patiently waits. Sends it back to Lidstrom straight away. Drives a shot. Oh, and it caroms off a couple of legs. Comes now to Brett Hull. 5 seconds on the 5-on-3. Hall with a shot. Oh, what did that hit? Did that hit the mask? It did sound like it hit plastic, I'll tell you that. And Morrison is out of the box. Scrooger was stunned by Brett Hull, who pulled that puck in closer to his feet to give himself an angle on that wrist shot. And the Canucks able to clear here. And Morrison's going to give it to Castles. Andrew Castles waiting for some help. Now just dumps it deeper into the Detroit zone. Morrison spun around by Lidstrom, and now Larionov has it. There's about 6 seconds difference between the penalty clock and the end of the period. And the Wings will have the man advantage until the end of the period, unless, of course, they score. As Larionov banks it off the boards now for Holmstrom. Holmstrom sends it to Brendan Shanahan. Shanahan sends it deep for Holmstrom. Holmstrom back to Shanahan. Shanahan waits, sends it across. Oh, and Larionov had a wide open net and couldn't control it. As the puck is cleared to the line, but not out. Wings still have some time. But the centering pass knocked away, and off the bench, the Red Wings are making a substitution as that puck came to the neutral zone. Here is Shanahan. He knows the time on the clock, and he forces Scooter to make a save. And what a first pitch.
If it's not Brian Burke, it's Scotty Bowman. If it's not Scotty Bowman, it's Mark Crawford.
Well, Mick Magoo was the referee that was hearing it from Bowman. And we start the second period just as we did the first, with the teams even. And boy, the way we arrived here has been a trip, hasn't it? As the Canucks clear it back now into the Detroit zone. And Yuri Fisher has it there. Now Chelios will spin back.
He's become a fan favorite in this series.
Yes, he has.
Vancouver. They're not saying boo, they're saying we love you.
That's right. Same two lines that started the game. The big line for the Vancouver Canucks against the Draper, Maltby, McCarty line. And the crowd continues to chant Hasek, Hasek to try to make sure that they show their love for him as well. Yzerman hands it off Shanahan. Now left wing side intended for Fedorov. He kicked it into the zone, but the Canucks able to clear. Here's Bertuzzi. Don Bertuzzi winds up, drives a shot saved by Hasek, and he covers up. Standing by with a special guest, Tony.
You guys.
All right, Tony, thank you very much.
Heard it.
Yeah. We thought it was Ken Hitchcock that turned Brett Hull around. How about Brett's mom saying it's grinding and checking? I thought for sure she'd say it's going to take a Brett Hull goal, and that way they don't have to go back to Detroit.
There's a mom who knows her hockey stuff.
Well, the first thing she said was the most important thing is winning the Stanley Cup. That's a hockey mom. Here is Yzerman now as the Red Wings have to regroup in the neutral zone. Fedorov, lead pass for Yzerman. Great read there by Sokol. Oh, he had a chance to move it ahead, but Cook decided to flip it way into the zone.
Well, folks, you're looking at the two top offenses in the National Hockey League. Vancouver Canucks #1, the Red Wings #2. 3.10 and 3.06. So it should be no surprise that we already have 4 goals scored in this game. I guess the one surprise would be that they came so quickly. I think Dominik Hasek after games 3, 4, and 5 was expecting to be dominant once again. And he hasn't been. I really think on the second goal, Dominik was careless off the post, and he hasn't looked as secure as he did in those past 3 games with some of the saves he's made. Of course, the way Dominik plays, he often doesn't look very secure. It somehow manages to keep that puck in front of him.
And even the first goal, although it went in off of Chelios, Dominik was way back in his crease. And who knows on the deflection if he's out at the top of the crease where he might be. When he's playing with a great deal of confidence, that puck maybe just hits him.
Yeah, good point, Dave. But if you part your hair on the left side, nobody will notice it.
Here it comes down to Olin. And that is off a stick and out of play. Just over 2 minutes gone by here in the second period. Canucks and the Wings are tied at 2, and Dominik Hasek We talked about the big swing in this series between games 2 and 3 really had been the turnaround of Hasek. And as great as this Red Wing team is, we've seen it again already tonight. If this guy doesn't bring his game, they're vulnerable.
Goaltending is the most important position in all of sport, in my estimation. More important than a pitcher. He goes every 4-game rotation. More important than a quarterback. He can hand the ball off, or defense can recover a football and run it back for a touchdown. The goaltender is on the ice for 60 minutes of the hockey game, and he can all by himself determine the outcome, especially in the playoffs where someone has to come away with a victory. And a good example today was a play of Montreal goaltender Theodore. Boy, he was sensational against the Boston Bruins. Lalime for the Ottawa Senators, just not allowing teams to score goals. And that is the challenge for the Vancouver Canucks, to find a way to get the puck past Dominik Hasek, not only in tonight's game, but hopefully tonight's game forcing a Game 7 back in Detroit.
Well, Dominik has great numbers, but his numbers on the road in the playoffs, his last 8 road playoff games, he's won 6 of them. Only a 1.89 goals against, so he's already given up more than that in terms of his average, but an outstanding .926 save percentage. He has been outstanding no matter where he has played. As Devereaux hands it off now for Chelios, and Hull drives it. Scooter just got a pad on it as that puck skipped.
Yeah, right in front of him. Changed direction. Brett Hull almost had his first, David.
Boy, he did. Now Jovanovski holding it in. He'll play it off the boards. Henrik Sedin has it there. Drops it back for Jovanovski. Jovanovski pressured out near the blue line, and the puck squirts free. Good work there by Jason Williams, number 29. Here is Fisher, banking it off the end boards now for Chelios. Chelios giving it back for Fisher. Fisher starts it back now for Jason Williams. Williams wristing it right into the glove of Scudra. In case you've joined us late, it was Dan Cloutier that started. Gave up 2 goals in the first 4.5 minutes. And was replaced by Scudra. And the team has responded. Robitaille drops it off for Larionov. Larionov, a little move. Here comes Robitaille. Couldn't get to it. He was taken down, and a penalty coming here against Letowski. Red Wing power play when we come back.
Trevor Letowski in the box for hooking.
Well, the Red Wings on the power play for the 3rd time in this game. 0 for 2. The Canucks had the first 2 power plays and scored on their first one. That was the goal that got them on the board. After trailing 2-0, they, of course, added one since. And the Wings have not been able to convert. As Jim Schoenfeld pointed out, converting on 5 out of 20 in the series coming into this one. Here comes Lidstrom. Hands it off for Holmstrom. That guy maybe stepped on the puck. And now Olin tried to clear, but Holmstrom held it in. Holmstrom now patient with it. Sends it to the corner. Yzerman will skate it out. He reverses it now for Fedorov. Fedorov sends it out, and Lidstrom could not hold it in. Now it comes to Yzerman again. Vancouver changing one of their penalty killers. Here comes Shanahan into the zone. Shanahan will bank it off the boards. Fedorov with a drive. Save made, and the puck goes free. And it's picked up by Warner, and he'll clear it down the ice.
Thomas Holmstrom is lucky that didn't hit him right in the mush. Matthias Olin pushed Holmstrom to the ice in the direction of that shot, and that was a laser from the blue line. It just eluded Holmstrom. That one would have hurt, Dave.
Here's Larionov. Larionov backhands it in deep. Tabarov gets there first. Plays it up the board, but Larionov moves it now to Duchesne. His wrist shot, Scooch with a save, and he steers it to the corner. And clearing attempt, Jovanovski didn't get Montana, but Tabarov able to clear. Chelios for Detroit. Robitaille tried to redirect. Intercepted by Tabarov. Tabarov digging after it. Doing a good job as this is killing valuable time on this Red Wing power play that's down to 20 seconds. Robitaille has it knocked away by Cook. Here's Tabarov again. Tabarov put it out in front, and it was blocked by Chelios. Chelios hands it off. Here comes Hull. Under 10 seconds left in the power play. Larionov hands it off to Hull. Snaps the shot. Scooch with a save. Rebound is there. Backhanded. Scooch for another save. And the penalty to Letowski is over, and it bounces to center ice. This is onside. Letowski waits. Sends it in front. Save made by Hasek, and he made a second save. And it's cleared to center ice, and a penalty coming here against Detroit. A delayed call. And the call is going to go against Steve Duchesne as Dominik Hasek makes 2 great saves.
Matt Cook just could not get the puck over a sprawling Dominik Hasek. Letowski, great patience. That's Letowski coming out of the penalty box. The reason it's onside, it hit a Red Wing player in the neutral zone. The pass is blocked off by Olsen. Letowski stays with it. Matt Cook had Dominic down and out. Now Olsen goes down, so now he can't pass. He hangs on, good composure, throws it right out. Dom gets a stick. Then now right here, Matt Cook, just get it up. He's got 2/3 of the net to shoot at. And Dominic Hasek gives himself a hand here with his goal stick. And from the Southwest Airlines goal cam, you can clearly see that puck stay in front of the goalie in red.
So Detroit now 0 for 3 on the power play, although they've had 7 shots. And here come the Canucks. Now after they scored on their first power play the last time they had the man advantage, it was Detroit that got 3 shorthanded shots on goal. The Canucks didn't even manage a shot. This crowd has stayed behind their club even when they were down 2-0 in this game. Hasek decides not to try to go play that puck. And a puck played here with a high stick. Bertuzzi going to wait, but it is touched. And that gives us a chance to remind you, ESPN2 will have a big game tomorrow.
Ottawa to handle Philadelphia as easily as they did. Most people thought the Flyers would win that series. Never mind get knocked out in 5 quick games.
And score only 2 goals.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. Lane, what a series.
Naslund, great move, gains the zone. Wrist shot, Hasek save, rebound, cleared by Chelios to the boards and hooked away by Draper. Draper, and a good job there by Jovanovski. Draper still controlling, gets it in front of shot. Scooter saving the rebound, goes by Maltby. Here is Lindstrom, he scores! Oh, what a sequence, a shorthanded goal, and Scooter is absolutely furious, as are his teammates. They feel he was interfered with.
Well, before he was interfered with, Draper grabbed Ed Jovanovski just inside the blue line and spun him. That's how Draper was able to get to the net, as GM Brian Burke looks on in disgust. And then Scooter was run into in the net. He could not recover. And Mark Crawford is biding his time. I'm sure he's going to wait till the referees are close enough so they can hear his challenge. But Draper got away with one right there. There's Draper pulling Jovanovski down. Jovanovski can't recover. That's the first scoring chance. And then Draper runs into Scooter. Scooter's out of the net. And Lidstrom, with a wide open net, comes in and bangs it in. But the penalty should have been called before Draper even made it to the net. It's a one-on-one situation. Draper with Jovanovski there, right there. Draper had his hand on Jovanovski's shoulder, spun the big defenseman around. Jovanovski could not defend against Draper coming to the net. And everything else after that is academic, as Draper knocks Scooter right out of the way. And you see the Maltby just missed the first rebound. And then the shot is banged in by Nick Lidstrom.
Now the officials felt that Draper was either knocked in or could not avoid contact. And Brian Burke obviously does not agree. The second shorthanded goal in as many games from the Detroit Red Wings. It was, of course, Dan Deneau that did it in Game 5, and the speedy Draper does it here.
Well, I don't disagree with the call on goal. Draper had a good head of steam. He's being pulled down. He legitimately slid into Scooter. That's okay. My area of concern is the penalty that should have been called against Jovanovski when Draper grabbed his shoulder, spun him around as Jovanovski was turning to take him out along the boards. To me, that is definitely a penalty that was missed by the officials.
But without a stick, Steve Yzerman still trying to make a play. Backs the puck over, though the Canucks control. Their power play continues. Here comes Linden trying to tie the game, and he just missed it on the outside of the post. And it's cleared, and here's a breakaway for Brett Hall. Looking for his first goal of the series. He fakes. He gets it. Brett Hall off the post and in. 2 shorthanded goals by Detroit on the same penalty.
Well, there's nothing for the Canucks to argue about on the Brett Hall goal, except poor coverage by their team. Brett Hall, you would expect him to Paul froze him, moved to the right, and scored a great goal for the Detroit Red Wings. Second shorthander. A little under 13 minutes to go in the second period, and everybody is buzzing in wonderment, just cheering for the Vancouver Canucks.
And I'm sure that wink was for his mom, Joanne.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to be careful now. Scotty Bowman's going to transport all the moms in, make sure that we interview them all. That's all it took to get Brett Hall on track, was having Joanne on camera with Tony Granato. So I would expect to see a lot of Red Wing moms from now on if the Red Wings should advance in this playoff series. And he might even fly Tony in for all the games.
Comes out to Jovanovski. Duchesne is out of the box. And it's picked up by Duchesne. He plays it back into the Vancouver zone. Shanahan will get there. This will not be icing. Brian Helmer, though, trying to separate him from the puck. And Helmer gets control. What was amazing, not just the fake and everything that you talked about, Shoney, but the fact that he's a right-hand shot, the tough angle he created, he almost had to put it off the post to get it into the net.
Yeah, I mean, he had taken himself almost out of position, but for a shooter like Hull, you got to be way out not to find the net.
Robitaille to Holmstrom, tried to give it back to Robitaille, as they also had Olesen jumping up in the play. 2 shorthanded goals in the span of 30 seconds on the same penalty. Do not dare change the channel, because obviously you might miss something. This has been an incredible game, and Brett Hull has given the Wings another 2-goal lead. Scoring left winger, but his mom Joanne, who talked about tight checking and grinding and all the things you have to do to get back in the game when it was 2-2. Well, they took care of business defensively shorthanded, and Brett gets the second of 2 shorthanded goals.
I'm pretty sure Scotty Bowman was reading her lips during that interview, and then he passed the message on to the team. Scotty's nodding. Yes, absolutely. And these are the goals. And look at Draper pulling Jovanovski down. Boom. Nick Lidstrom, no chance there at all for Peter Scudder. Brett Hull freezing them, boom, boom. And from the wide angle, tings in off the goal post. The accuracy of Brett Hull, tremendously quick hands. And a very happy Joanne Hull, proud mother, looking on here in Vancouver.
Olin now trying to clear for the Canucks, intercepted by Maltby, but it's slapped away. And here come the Canucks. It's Matt Cook one-on-one against Chelios. Long shot and a pad save by Hasek. Here is Yuri Fisher. Cook with a big hit. Castles centering attempt blocked by Chelios. Castles again. Sends it along the boards. It'll be chased down by Fisher. And Fisher starting it back now. 3 Red Wings on the rush. 4 Canucks are back. Here's McCarty with a wrist shot. Just missed the net on Scudra. Now Draper. McCarty with a hit, but Jovanovski able to get the puck and hands it off for Castles. Penalty coming against Detroit behind the play. Here is Castles wristing it to the net. The save made by... Well, his team is on the power play now. The last power play resulted in 2 Detroit Red Wing goals, and here they come shorthanded again. Yzerman's going to hand it off to Chelios. Chelios makes the nifty move against Morrison. Now Chelios one-hands it out in front. The Canucks intercept. And the Red Wings, though, don't take themselves out of defensive position as they get back to defend here. Naslund sends it across. Morrison gets a shot away, but he didn't have the angle with the left-hand shot. Now it comes out to the line. Naslund straight away. Fakes. Now lets it go, but the net is off behind Dominik Hasek. And he quickly backed away from that open net. He wanted to make sure the official blew the whistle.
Well, an angry Mark Crawford giving Bill McCreary an earful. Oh, yeah. And a sarcastic clap. Be careful, Mark. They're going to give you 2 minutes. And this is why he's so upset. You see right there, Draper pulls Jovanovski down.
Oh, he never grabbed his jersey, though. I thought he did.
But over his shoulder there. He had one hand, then the other.
But didn't he let go? Right there, he's got it. Now
look at the right hand.
Go.
The right hand pulls him down. He spins him. That's absolutely a penalty, Spades.
Well, you know what? You know what might have hurt Jovanovski? He snapped his head back. I thought he was trying to feign a high stick when it happened live. And I don't know whether the officials said there was no high stick, so maybe they weren't looking for the...
I think Jovo's turning. He was on his edge there, and just as he turned, that was good timing for Chris Draper to pull the bigger, stronger Jovanovski, get good leverage to spin a player around, and Jovo just couldn't recover. And you remember Draper slid into Scudra, and the net was wide open. But I definitely do think that is a penalty. I don't blame Mark Crawford for being upset, but right now he's got to regain his focus so his team can regain their focus. They won't get that goal back. It's done. They're down 2. They have a little less than 10 minutes to go here in the second period. And if they can get 1 goal in this period, close the gap, and then come out in the third. But he's got to forget about that. He's got to focus on scoring goals now instead of barking at the officials.
Here is Trevor Linden closing in with a drive, and he missed the net. He had Danielson going to set up a screen. So the mistake made by the referee, if nothing else had happened, Mark Crawford would have been upset, to say the least. But that, plus Draper sliding in, plus the goal being scored, everything was compounded. And the Wings were able to clear. Still half a minute remaining in this Draper penalty. And the Canucks with a chance to get back within 1. Linden with a drive and a save by Hasek. And you mentioned Mark Crawford gaining his composure. And something that he needs to do. Well, a few years ago when he was behind the bench of the Colorado Avalanche coaching against Scotty Bowman. He did lose his composure. Remember, this was 1997. The Wings on the way to their first of 2 Stanley Cups.
Well, Mark is barking at Scotty Bowman. Scotty saying, I don't think so. You know, Scotty just takes things pretty well. And I know Scotty said, you know, Mark, I don't think your dad would appreciate you acting like this.
And I think that comment,
it did.
Yeah.
It really, it diffused the whole thing. And as Scotty looks on, I mean, here's the situation. I mean, the Canucks were on the power play. If Draper gets a penalty there, then it's a 5-on-3 situation.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, they could really turn things around here. Instead, it's a Red Wing goal.
And Detroit had already had a 5-on-3. And officials don't necessarily look to even those things up. But coaches in their mind say, you know what, they've had a 5-on-3.
And in my eyes, it was a legitimate call. 5-on-3 or not, I think it was a legitimate penalty. And sometimes, you know, you can't keep harping on the referees. It's a fast game. They don't always have the best position. We have overhead cameras. We get to see everything.
Exactly.
They don't.
Brendan Morrison sends it in deep now for Warner. Just 5 seconds left before Draper comes out of the box, and the Canucks will want to be aware of him coming out. They have control right now. It comes to Sopel. His shot is blocked. Draper is out, and the puck comes free. It is Chelios clearing it ahead. Draper gets a stick on it. Now he's checked on the play. Brendan Morrison able to clear. And back come the Canucks. Jan Hlavich into the zone. Warner crashing toward the net, but the puck comes free, and Matthew Dandino able to clear it off the board. Now Sopel. That's off the stick of Chabarov. Warner able to get it in deep. Here comes Matt Cook. Boy, he just drives Matthew Dandino right into the boards, who was holding his position to set a pick. Larionov into the zone, drops it off for Holmstrom. Holmstrom peels back against Jovanovski. Shot toward the net, hit by Larionov. He got a stick on it. Now here's Robitaille with it. Had it slapped away. Good work there by Chabarov to bear down on Robitaille to make sure that he cleared the zone. Now Larionov again. Hands it off for Duchesne. Duchesne for Robitaille. He drives a shot into the glove of Skudra, and he holds it there. 4-2 Detroit. 7:35 remaining in the second period. Red Wings up 4-2. If they win, series over. If the Canucks can come back, there will be a Game 7 Monday night at Joe Louis Arena. Here is Olin coming out of his own zone. Olin to center ice, lifts it into the Detroit zone. Bertuzzi gets in there. Fisher runs into him. Now Fedorov gets a stick on it, but Morrison recovers. Bertuzzi spinning away. It's slapped to the near side of the Detroit zone. Chelios will chase it down, and he clears. He heard that freight train number 44 coming as the puck is dumped back into the Detroit zone. This is going to be icing against the Vancouver Canucks. Well, earlier tonight, when the crowd was really going here in Vancouver, we had a chance to measure the decibel level. 108 decibels, which is the equivalent of a freight train revving its engine. And just to compare it to something, if you stand next to one of those funny cars at the drag races, 115 decibels. A 747 engine, 124, and the pain threshold for wearing a pair of headsets and listening to Jim Schoenfeld for 3 hours is 125.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't know you could hear me say that.
Right in the heart.
I know it won't stop you though. Here comes Draper trying to roll it toward Skudra. Now McCarty gets a shot away, and Skudra able to cover up. Well, tomorrow night, Alex Rodriguez on the Texas Rangers.
None of that matters right now. All that matters is them getting at least 3 goals in this hockey game. 3 more goals, that is.
All that while holding the Red Wings off the board.
Yeah, that's right. That might be
easy.
easier for them to get 3 than to hold the Wings off, Dave. You're right.
Castles goes now to Matt Cook, and the Canucks come out with it. Here's LaChance. He has a goal in this series, and that one he backhanded at the wrong angle, and it ends up over the glass and out of play. Matt Cook led this Vancouver team in hits during the season, and he's an energy type guy. But he came into this game with 2 goals and 2 assists. 4 points, 5 games, leading the Canucks. Jim, his previous record, a donut.
Well, his goals weren't pretty goals, but they were goals nonetheless. He's not known for his goal scoring. He's known for his grit, his determination. It was Matt Cook that took Dandino right into Duchesne there. A nice bonus for the Vancouver Canucks, but they've got to get their scorers scoring. Naslund, Bertuzzi, Morris, that's who they have to get scoring.
Yep. Well, Jovanovski scored the first goal, then Henrik Sedin got his second goal of the series. Naslund and Bertuzzi assisted on the Jovanovski goal, but they need that big line at even strength to get things done. Now Chabarov battling there against Fedorov. Chabarov bounces free. Fedorov's going to try to come back at him. Out to the line, Sopel. Hands it off for Hlavich. Hlavic's shot is blocked by Fisher, and Brendan Shanahan plays it off the boards and back inside the Vancouver line. Now Yuri Fisher backhands it across. Waiting there is Olesen on the near side for Shanahan. He gives it right back to Yuri Fisher. Nice pass up the right side. Igor Larionov drives a shot. Skudra to save. And he decides to continue to play. I thought he was going to cover it there, but he had room to make a play.
Yeah, there were no wings around him. Had he frozen that one, he could have gotten a delay of game penalty. 3 Canucks there, so he said, I'll give the puck to one of them.
This will be icing if it is touched first by Warner, which it is. Well, a couple of times tonight, the Canucks have found themselves trailing by 2. Do they have a comeback left in them? For Dallas against Edmonton, he had been held off the boards in this series until the goal that right now has given the Wings their second 2-goal advantage. Short-handed. Larionov bumped off the puck by Jovanovski. Ball taken down by Lachance. Oh, a turnover here, a chance in front. Oh, Skudra, what a save on Larionov. That could have been the game if it goes to a 3-goal advantage with under 5 minutes to go in the second period. Remember that Skudra save. Vancouver turnover right to the front of the net, and Skudra went low and took it away. Matthew Dandino hammers it. Oland able to hold it in. Drives a shot, and that's deflected over the glass and out of play.
When you look at a talented team like the Red Wings, you would expect them to get a ton of scoring chances on the rush. But in tonight's game, they have been very good at applying strong offensive zone pressure, creating turnovers, and again, a turnover created, an alert play by Dandino, a great play by Larionov, and a better save by Peter Skudra.
So the Russian unable to beat the Latvian on that particular confrontation, as you see the work of Peter Skudra. Now Bertuzzi. Lidstrom leaning on him. Centering attempt intercepted by Olesen. And back comes McCarty, wristing it deep into the Canuck zone. Play by Oland to take Maltby hard into the glass. Maltby trying to keep the play alive in the Vancouver zone. Brendan Morrison helping out his defenseman. Naslund had it poked off his stick. Here's a steal. Lidstrom sends it across. Well, the Vancouver Canucks players, we got a penalty coming away from the
That was
play.
Barron, yeah.
And here's Draper with it. A delayed call continues. And the call's going to come, and this is not a good time for the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, it's Murray Barron again, defenseman, getting that loose hand off the stick, reaching out and grabbing. Look at the left hand here, folks. There's Draper trying to turn. Murray Barron with a headlock. Throws him to the mat. Stay on him for a 1-2-3 count, but he lets him back up. And the very aggressive Murray Barron. Solid, strong body checker. And that's not the best kind of hit for a defenseman like Murray Barron with his ability. Good advice for defensemen. Keep both hands on the stick. Tug at the forward's hands. The far end of the stick is a puck. 2-inch movement at the hands is about a 6-7-inch movement at the end of that fulcrum, which is the stick. The puck comes off a little bit. As the forward tries to regain possession, you close the gap and you slam them into the boards. Get that loose hand off, and you're just inviting yourself a trip to the penalty box.
Shanahan drops it back. Yzerman into the zone. Yzerman and Jovanovski come together. Holmstrom played it around. Shanahan got a stick on it. It's held in by Fedorov. Fedorov moves it back in deep for Holmstrom. Back along the boards. Fedorov at the right point. Winds up, fakes the pass. And the puck was on edge. It's slapped away by Linden and cleared down the ice by Lachance.
This is a huge kill for the Canucks. They need this one. Coming up to 3 minutes to go in the second period. Should the Wings be able to score on this power play, it would be a huge, huge hole for the Canucks to have to climb out of.
Larionov into the zone for Holmstrom. Back in deep. Larionov tried to get to it, and it's cleared away. Chabarov racing after it, but it will be recovered by Duchesne for Detroit. And now Chelios drops it back. Duchesne for Larionov into the zone. Plays it off the boards. Duchesne wristing it in deep. Olin gets there for the Canucks. He is challenged but made the good clear as Letowski held his man up. Chelios again hearing it from the crowd here. Just over half a minute remaining in the Murray-Barron penalty. Larionov beats it now to Brett Hall. Hall snaps a shot. He scored! Brett Hall just inside the post. And Detroit has the 3-goal lead. And obviously Joanne very happy.
Well, it's a deep hole with slippery sides right now. And what Brett Hall does on this shot is he changes the angle at release. The puck is well out from his body. He pulls it in towards the skates and then snaps it. As he pulls that puck in towards his skates, that changes the angle of release. Skudra is playing the angle where the puck is, and as Hall pulls it in, the short side is open. That is a goal scorer's goal. Lemieux can score like that. Mario. So can Stevie Yzerman. Fedorov. There aren't a lot of players that have the hands and the velocity on their shot to score that type of goal. Brett Hall has been doing it for virtually his entire career.
2 shorthanded goals, a power play goal. And the Red Wings with a commanding 3-goal advantage. Lidstrom redirects it in wide of Skudra. Larionov and Chelios. So the two 40-year-olds figuring prominently in this Detroit lead at this point. As Hasek will settle it down now for Fedorov. The last time Detroit lost the first 2 games of a series and came back to win it was back in 1992 against the then Minnesota North Stars. They lost the first 2 games of that series at home, ended up winning in 7 games. Here is Marcus Naslund. Plays it ahead now. And Brendan Morrison drives the shot deflected by Fisher. Now Chelios will wrap it around. Hall got a stick on it, but it goes right to Naslund. Naslund hands it off. Here's the chance. With a shot and a save made by Hasek. Chelios was down in the corner, but he gets back up. He's looking around. As Fedorov drives it in wide of Skudra. Here is Hall looking for the hat trick now, and he fires it in wide. Fedorov trying to keep it in the zone, and he does. Working against Jovanovski, sends it cross ice looking for Shanahan. Olesen with a shot that hit a skate. It comes to the front of the net, and Skudra able to cover.
He gets right back into the play, and he gave referee Bill McCreary an earful as he was skating up the ice, wondering why no penalty was called there.
Well, he's been hit twice by Bertuzzi in this series, both times right in that same corner.
Absolutely.
And Chris Chelios, they ought to take the tape of those 2 hits by Bertuzzi on Chelios to show guys, okay, here's, if you don't want to dive and you want to be known as a warrior, you said that's an overused term, here's what you do. And
man, he's saying his head was pushed right into the glass. The nose is bleeding. The lip is bleeding. Probably bit down on the tongue. Yeah, the tongue is bleeding. And you know what, folks? He'll be right out on the ice for his next shift. I guarantee it.
Now Sopel backhands it into the Detroit zone. Letowski prevented the first clearing attempt by Lidstrom. Now it's taken by Castles. He sends it in wide of Hasek. McCarty plays it now for Lidstrom. Lidstrom just sending it all the way down the ice, and that's wide of Cloutier. It'll be icing if the Canucks can get to it before the end of the period, which they do, with still 7.3 on the clock.
Just added importance for the Red Wings to end this series in 6 games if they can, because you don't want Bertuzzi running at Chelios again in Game 7. A guy like Chelios, who has played so much in the series and played so hard and been played so hard against, is going to need all the recovery time he can get to get ready for series number 2 should the Red Wings advance.
Well, there was talk about the fatigue factor because of the amount of miles that Scotty Bowman's club has had to cover, and the Vancouver Canucks as well, but more concerned because of the age of Scotty's team. Chris Chelios said it's only our first round, and we've had plenty of time to rest in the final 2 weeks of the season. So remember, the Red Wings got criticized in the last month by some people for resting key players, but this situation is exactly why they did it. So they'd have a full tank. Jovanovski shot skipped through, and Hasek was back at the goal line and made the save. Centering attempt here, and the horn sounds with the Canucks. Gone actually the first 4 games of the series without a point. And Fred Hull said that even though he does contribute in other areas of the game and he appreciates the fact that people think of him as a more complete player, he felt he's not really contributing to the best of his ability if he's not scoring goals. Well, he scored 2 goals that very few players in this league could score. And the Red Wings with a 3-goal advantage. 4 skaters aside, each team with a man in the box. Sopel for Vancouver and Shanahan for the Wings. Went off at the 20-minute mark of the second period, and Chris Chelios has had the nose work done and probably the inside of that mouth too. And 3 assists, 19 minutes of play.
I'll tell you what, he just takes a licking and keeps on ticking. I mean, it's been Bertuzzi, the biggest, strongest Vancouver Canuck, and it's almost been like his solitary mission to make Chris Chelios pay a physical price every time he passes the puck in the defensive zone. Chelios takes the hit from the big bruiser and gets back up and doesn't change his game one iota. There aren't many 26-year-olds that could take the punishment that Chelios has taken in this series, log the amount of ice time he has logged, and still play at such a high level.
Here is Olin now as the Wings cleared it back to the Vancouver line. Bertuzzi is out there with Chabarov. Helmer and Olin are the defensemen. Those are the 4 skaters for Mark Crawford. Scotty Bowman making a change here as he has Olison and Fisher along with Hull and Larionov. Olison steps up, but Chabarov able to skate it now into the Detroit zone. Snaps a shot, save. Hasek, and he decides to cover up. Let's go downstairs. Tony Granat. Team make it go over with an indelible marker and right in over Vancouver 4-2 or whatever it might be.
We talk about heart and soul. Konstantinov, as tough a player as there ever was in this game. He was loved by his teammates. Of course, a tragic accident after they'd won the Stanley Cup, and he has not been the same person since. And he is still loved. Revered, I think, is more an accurate word by the Detroit Red Wing teammates, and he's still an inspiration to that team, even though he hasn't been in uniform in years.
Hasek steers it along the boards. Chelios able to clear it ahead for Fedorov. Still a little over 20 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Fedorov and Yzerman. Here is Yzerman with it. Puts on the brakes. He waits. Looks across. Oh, and a one-timer attempt there by Duchesne. He fanned on it. Castles drops it back. And now Trevor Linden trying to buy some time as the Canucks make changes. Here is Olin into the zone. Brings it along the boards. Deflected by Morrison as Sopel and Shanahan come out of their respective boxes. And both teams are at full strength. This will be an icing call on the touch-up by Olin. Now, there's been a lot made of the Detroit Red Wings being the oldest team and maybe too old. Chris Chelios is 40 years of age. Igor Larionov is 41. Look what they've done here in this important game this afternoon after flying all night, as the Canucks had to do, granted. But the 40 and older club, a goal and 5 assists so far. Not just that they're playing, not just that they're bodies, but they are significant players.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Red Wing team would not be the same without these 2 guys.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly.
I mean, Chelios, the leader back there in the blue line with Lidstrom. They are the numbers 1 and 2 candidates for the Best Defenseman of the Year award, and you can pick either one and be right. Chelios and Lidstrom. Larionov controls the puck as well as, I would say, about 70% of the centers in the National Hockey League still. And we mentioned the abuse Chelios has taken, the physical abuse in the series, and it hasn't changed his game a lick. So a lot of 25-year-olds would like to play like those 2 fellas.
Here's Maltby centering pass for Matthias Olin jumping into the play, and that was out of his reach. Larionov and Chelios, 2 of a long list of Red Wing players that will make the Hall of Fame at the end of their careers.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
That was Fredrik Olsson that was driving for the front of the net. I got the Swedish names mixed up there, didn't I?
I knew who you meant, Dave.
Olin was back there defending.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Here was Murray Barron backhanding now for Bertuzzi. What would I do without you recognizing my mistakes on this entire playoff run? Brendan Morrison. And that was out of the reach of Bertuzzi. Holmstrom took a swipe at it. Now it's knocked away and recovered by LaChance. He plays it back, trying to hit Brendan Morrison. No icing here. And that'll be played by Yuri Fisher. Moves it quickly now. And Holmstrom trying to get control. Back canceled ahead now. Here's Larionov with it again. Sends it deep into the Canucks zone. Holmstrom trying to get to it. LaChance steps in front of him. And now here's a near steal by Robitaille. Got a stick on it, but now Naslund hands it off for Trevor Letowski with some speed. Letowski drives the shot. Hasek the save to the corner. And the puck comes free, and it's going to be better off recovering. And backhands it now for Duchesne. Duchesne center ice lifts it right back into the Canucks zone. 4 minutes gone by here in the third. Red Wings looking to close this out. And they're going to get some time to rest as the Avalanche and the Kings for the second year in a row are going to a Game 7 Monday night in Denver. Hasek around the boards. Able to clear. Sopel flipping it back in, but that play is offside. Well, speaking of guys over outstanding golfers, and there are some hockey players and former hockey players.
I don't like where this is headed, folks.
Are not such great golfers, but those are the guys I like playing with. LaChance and Devereaux battling in the corner. Castles trying to send it back to the point. You can almost qualify for that senior tour, Shoney. Age-wise, anyway. I don't know.
Age-wise, yes. Maybe I'd be better off to be a caddy.
Knocked away center ice. Here's Castles on the turnover. Drops it back. Jan Hlavich. Oh, deflected off of Olesen, and a save made there by Hasek.
Well, things getting interesting here. 15 minutes to go, and it's a situation where both coaches try to break the third period down into quarters.
And there's going to be a penalty here against Detroit.
Mark Crawford saying, boys, we just have to get a goal every 5 minutes in this period. As Bill McCreary makes the holding the stick call. You see the Canucks on the attack. And there is the shot right off of the pad of Frederick Olesen. Dominic Hasek has this one eyed all the way, as you can clearly see from the Southwest Airlines goal cam. So the Vancouver Canucks, 50 minutes to go on the power play. Remember, it's the Red Wings that have been scoring goals on the Canuck power play in tonight's game. Lidstrom and Brett Hull.
Take a look at this. 5 shots and 2 goals for Detroit. 4 shots and 1 goal for Vancouver, all on Canuck power play time. That's incredible. But that's what the Red Wings are capable of doing with the players that they put out on the penalty kill. When you have guys like Yzerman and Hull, or Draper and Maltby as this shot. Plenty on it, but it comes outside the zone and brought back in by Matthias Ohlund. In case you're wondering, too, the 2 goals scored shorthanded, just third dwellers.
Way to go, Andy.
Morrison gets it into the zone, and it's cleared back into the Vancouver end. You realize when you mention Andy's name, how many people rank ahead of him we have to mention now? Matthias Ohlund to center ice. Flips it in wide. Hasek decides he's going to come out and handle this puck, and that hit a Vancouver player. Now Lidstrom, a good job to kick it along the boards and kill some time. And now the Wings, Brett Hull gets to it, and he'll slap it all the way down the ice.
Oh, he's going for the trick.
Yes, he was. Minute 10 remaining in the Jason Williams penalty. Here's Jovanovski into the zone with Henrik Sedin. Now it goes to Bertuzzi. In deep for Marcus Naslund. Back for Bertuzzi. He's got a stick on that.
Dominic doing a little bit of acting there. I think Bertuzzi had to stick up, but I don't think it was quite that much force on it. Looks like somebody shot Dominic from the stands the way he went down.
Here is Naslund, and a one-timer saved by Hasek, and he hangs on.
Well, he's getting up and he's arguing, so perhaps there was a little more force to that Bertuzzi hit.
Well, Brian Burke, as part of his press conference earlier in the week, said the officials should be able to recognize which goalie is the Vancouver goalie because he's the guy standing up with the pads on.
Well, Dominic is the goaltender that's been making the saves. And here's Dominic right there. Oh, yeah, it's a pretty good shot to the jaw.
Yeah.
Not quite the same force as Dominic would have you believe. It was a stick to the chin, and then Dominic, as he's sprawling again, and usually it would be the pads that are going there. The head would be the other side of the crease.
Yeah,
the pads coming out there. So Dominic saying that he was interfered with twice. No penalty call. And there is About 35 seconds remaining on the Canucks power play.
You think Dominic suffers a little bit from the boy who cried wolf syndrome?
Well, that's true, Dave. That's a real good point. And referees are certainly well aware of guys that dive, guys that try to actually embarrass the referees by making them make the wrong call because of some overacting. And I think sometimes it works in their disfavor because they don't get the benefit of the doubt.
Henrik Sedin, who has one of the 2 Vancouver goals. Here's Linden with a shot. Oh, he had some room on the far side, and he missed that post. Jason Williams getting set to come out of the box. Still 5 seconds on this power play. Jovanovski, a wrist shot. Loose. Oh, long in front by Henrik Sedin, his second goal of the game.
Don't leave your TV sets, folks. 13 minutes to go here in the 3rd period. You're talking about the most explosive team in the National Hockey League, the Vancouver Canucks.
Over 2 minutes after the call on Jason Williams, but in all intents and purposes, they still had the man advantage. And it's a 2-goal hockey game. And as Jim Schoenfeld has been pointing out, this Vancouver team very explosive. Henrik Sedin, one of 3 players in this year's playoffs who scored their first career playoff goal in overtime. Ruslan Fedotenko did it for Philadelphia, Bates Battaglia for Carolina, and now Henrik has added a couple of more goals here this afternoon. And this one coming just as a power play expired, and it gives the Canucks some life. It's a 2-goal Detroit lead, 12.5 to go. On the goal by Henrik Sedin, his second goal of this game, his 3rd of this series. As Olsen at center right plays it ahead. Olin, there's Sopel, and it's recovered center ice. Linden tries to make the play, and good job by Matt Cook to get it in deep. Canucks will be coming hard now. They are down by 2. This is a game where it's going to take 6 at least to win it. Now Fedorov one-on-one against Sopel, and Sopel got a leg in the way of that shot. Now Sopel being pressured by Fedorov, plays it ahead. Taken by Linden. Linden backhands it in deep. Hasek comes out to play it. He puts it back up the boards. Yzerman knew that Olin was coming. Worked it to the line, held in by Brendan Morrison. Here's Olin again. Sends it in deep. Recovered by Trevor Linden on the far side. Taken down by Lidstrom, and Lidstrom able to clear. Red Wings making changes. Olin center ice, flips it in. Now Yuri Fisher with it. Up the glass with it. And Jovanovski is checked, and it's one-handed by Draper back inside the Canucks zone.
Good play by Draper to bump Drobo off the puck and then make sure the puck clears the blue line.
Naslund has bumped off the puck. The Canucks maintain possession. Now it's taken away, and boy. Checked by Bertuzzi just as he was following through on his dump in. Now Naslund ahead for Bertuzzi, and Bertuzzi and Chelios head-to-head again, and here's Sopel. Hands it off for Brendan Morrison, who dumps it into the Detroit zone, but the Canucks are going for a change. Now Fisher hands it off, and Darren McCarty lays it into the Vancouver zone. Boyd Devereaux in on the forecheck. Olin, good job to work it along the boards. Henrik Sedin to Daniel. Sopel, good job to collect that pass. If he misses that, Detroit might be going the other way. Here is Olin again. Henrik Sedin gives it back to Olin. Approaching the halfway mark of this 3rd period. Hall with a steal, but his pass was blocked by Todd Warner. Long outlet pass for Daniel Sedin. Jumped over a stick. Dandino will get back to recover. Lays it along the boards. Duchesne. With Jovanovski bearing down, but the good clear by Detroit. Canucks are back, but here's Lariana. Trying to buy some time at the blue line. Now Dandino, after it was knocked away, dumps it in, and fresh legs coming out for Detroit. And Jovanovski from behind his own net. Jovanovski to center ice, wristing it in on Hasek. Hasek will backhand it along the board. And the puck comes free, and Shanahan pushes it ahead. Here's Fedorov. Oh, he saw the chance at the last second. Yzerman drives a shot. Scooter the save, and he hangs on.
Todd Bertuzzi is a train wreck looking to happen, and Kurt Maltby, oof. This Hitchens, Dave. Oh, that makes it even better.
Olsen with a drive and a save. Rebound cleared aside by Scooter. What did I say?
Never mind.
I didn't say 6, obviously. Here's Tabarov. Now for Naslund. Naslund, a shot save made by Hasek as the Canucks driving to the net. Naslund taken down by Olsen. There's going to be a penalty here. A delayed call. Scooter gets to the bench. Extra attacker on the ice. And the Red Wings touch up, and it's going to be a slashing call against Frederick Olsen. get to our Visa storyline for this afternoon. Detroit with the 2 quick shorthanded goals, and Vancouver had a couple of quick goals in the first. Hull, first 2 goals of the series, both special teams. And in the playoffs, leading after 2 periods, teams are 26-3.
Brett Hull, shorthanded, second shorty of the game. On the bad angle, and then Brett Hull on the power play. Watch this wrister, folks, as he pulls the puck to his feet, changes the angle just enough to find that short side right underneath the crossbar.
So Olsen is the man in the box.
And there for slashing, a slash on Naslund, as Naslund was bringing the puck up to the blue line. And wham, there's the two-hander. And it looks like Dan Cloutier is coming back into the hockey game. This could be nothing more than to rest some of Mark Crawford's forwards and or defensemen, his skaters. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cloutier come in, and then the next whistle, see Scooter come back in. See how Scooter's waiting in the crease, He'll go off as slowly as he can. Take his time, skating off very slowly. Dan Cloutier back in the net. So this saves Mark Crawford from having to call a timeout. So he gets his 5 best offensive people on the ice. If there's another whistle, he can put Scooter back in and use the same 5 players for the entire power play.
And Scott Bowman has already used his timeout earlier in the game when the Red Wings had gotten up 2-0 and the Canucks came back to tie it and had the crowd roaring behind them. So the Vancouver Canucks statistically just 1 for 5 on the power play. But remember that Sedin goal came exactly as the Jason Williams penalty expired. And what an opportunity here for the Vancouver Canucks to get back to within 1. Get this crowd going again. Here is Naslund. Hands it off now. Matthias Olin into the glove of Hasek, and is he going to play it? No. He wisely decides to hang on.
Face-off up. Sopel is back, the only defenseman back at the blue line. Of course, it's academic because the Red Wings won the draw.
Olin moves it along. Bertuzzi had it bounce off of his stick, but it's recovered by Daniel Sedin now for Henrik. Daniel Sedin one more time. Top of the circle. Gives it to his twin brother. Henrik goes right back, or tried to. Lidstrom got a stick on it, but the Canucks had it, then they lose it. And Brett Hull just wristing it down the ice.
And Bertuzzi is the player that did not exit the ice. The Sedin twins came on. As Castles and Naslund went off, so all that goaltending changes for Todd Bertuzzi to make sure he's as fresh as he can be throughout this power play.
Hasek moves it to the corner. Brett Hull tries to clear. Olin holds it in with a skate. Hands it off. It comes Daniel Sedin with a drive, and it was deflected. And that was Chelios that went down and got a stick on that.
And there's Todd Bertuzzi. He will stay on the ice. 39 seconds to go in this Canuck power play. Played almost 50 minutes in tonight's game. 1 shot, 1 point, 3 hits. I would say that's probably 9 hits, because when he hits you, it's about 3 times harder than any other player in the National Hockey League. Man, has he thrown some big hits in this series against big, strong hockey players, against heady hockey players. I mean, sometimes it's a situation where the player that you're trying to hit is alert and they have a real good sense of the game, and so you make contact, but it's not that solid contact. You kind of brush off them. You're talking Chris Chelios, who is about as heads up a hockey player as there is in the game, and he's been smoked a few times by Bertuzzi in this series. Bertuzzi going for a stick change. Magoo saying, let me see it. It has to be legitimately broken. And he's shooing him back onto the ice, saying you're not going to get any rest here. Well, how irate will Mark Crawford be if Bertuzzi has an empty net, or he goes to shoot it and the blade snaps in half? Oh, boy.
Here's Naslund, avoided Fedorov, sends it deep. There's Bertuzzi and Chelios battling. It goes to Naslund in the corner. Fedorov closes the gap on him, and there's the support from Lidstrom to clear it down the ice. Just over 20 seconds remaining in the Olsen penalty. Rink wide for Jovanovski. Chelios stepped up on him. Hasek now moving it along the boards. Chelios waiting for that puck, and he slides it to Fedorov, and Fedorov will drive it down the ice. Scooter hands it off for Sopel. Jovanovski waiting. Gives it now to Trevor Linden. He sends it across Morrison. Sends it in wide. It's poked to the corner by Hasek. Out of the box comes Olsen. And the rink-wide pass nearly intercepted by Maltby, but the Canucks keep it in. Now Dandino clears it around. It's picked up, and Olsen starts it back the other way. Oh, he had Draper in the seam there for a moment, but Olsen dumped it in the zone as Draper goes in for a hit, and then Draper is drilled.
The Red Wings seem content to get the puck deep and to sit on this 2-goal lead. They really haven't taken many offensive chances. They haven't tried any high-risk passes. Everything has been dumped into the Canucks zone, and they can assume.
Well, the Red Wings go on the power play. Even if they don't score, a valuable 2 minutes will come off the clock, and we'll be down to around 5 minutes to go. Larionov hands it off. Brett Hull into the zone. He slides it across, and Larionov trying to get free. One hands it in for Hull. Now it comes back out to the point. Chelios has it there. Chelios left point for Duchesne. Back to Chelios straight away. Duchesne winds up, hands it off now for Hull at the hash marks. Behind the net, centering attempt there by Larionov. Up in the air, and it's cleared by Cook. But Duchesne getting back. Cook doing a good job on him.
Well, you often see a forward on the blue line on a Red Wing power play, but with a 2-goal lead in the third period, Scotty electing to go with 2 defensemen.
Larionov looking for Hull, gets it to him. The shot,
oh, baby!
That'll be the hat trick. Robitaille was there, and it bounced off of something, but I think it hit a Vancouver player. And Joanne is sure that that's the hat trick for her son.
Well, the gunpowder has dried, and Brett Hull has ignited the Red Wing hockey team here in this game. And there is the hat trick for Brett Hull. This is the first goal, the shorthander. And this is Hull's second goal on the power play, that patent wrist shot. And boom, boom, tic-tac, it's a goal. Brett Hull with the hat trick. Pass from Larionov. You cannot keep the great ones off the board for long, Dave. So Hull goes from 90 career power play goals to 93 in one hockey game.
A threat at all times, but especially the greater the importance of the game. Larionov rather in Chelios, so the over 40 club gets a couple of more points as they each get an assist. And the puck cleared by Detroit. And Naslund sends it over on the far side. And Olsen sends it back now. As Detroit with the 6-3 lead. With 5.5 to go here in the third period. Henrik Sedin sends it ahead. It's knocked down and cleared now by McCarty. The chance sends it across for Warner. Warner trying to bust through Chelios, sends it in deep. Hasek comes out of the net to play it. Along the boards, Maltby chopped at it. Intercepted Todd Warner. A shot that's deflected off the glass. Jovanovski. For Henrik Sedin, centering pass knocked away. Jovanovski tried to feed the point, but Maltby got a stick on it. Canucks making changes now as McCarty dumps it into the corner. Now Olin pushes it ahead. Jan Hlavich for Tabarov. Tabarov looking to his right for Letowski. That puck cleared by Lidstrom to the corner. Larionov quickly hoisting it the opposite way against the flow. It's gloved ahead and cleared out to center ice, and that'll be a hand pass against the Detroit Red Wings. Well, Brett Hull, no goals, as Jim Schoenfeld pointed out, coming into this game, gets his third of the game and a 3-goal Red Wing lead.
There's a proud hockey mom.
Red Wings on their way to advancing to the second round. Sopel, though, and the Canucks keep coming. And Hasek able to make that save, and Brett Hull getting the hat trick here in this game. And believe it or not, with all the goals that Brett Hull has scored now, 93 career playoff goals, his first career playoff hat trick. And he gets shorthanded in 2 power play.
So Brett Hull just warming the stick up for the next series. It's almost a certainty the Red Wings will advance. 4:23 to go. Nothing short of a miracle would enable the Canucks to pull this one off.
Sopel with a drive, and it was knocked down and cleared aside by Hasek. Here is Hlavich sending it in deep, and it's recovered by Lidstrom for Detroit. Sopel moved in, held it in. Now Trevor Linden looking to get to it. Linden walking off the boards with it. Olin moving in from the point. Now Hlavich and Chabarov trying to make something happen deep in the zone, but it's intercepted by Fedorov. He'll get it to center ice and makes the hit from Linden as he put it into the zone, but the play is offside. Downstairs to Tony Granato.
Well, guys, Stevie Yzerman has done more in this series than most players can do on two legs. He's obviously playing with a damaged right knee. This knee will have to be surgically repaired following the season, but Detroit fans, don't worry. Stevie says he will be back for his 20th year with the Wings next season.
Well, his 20th year, and what that'll be his 18th year as captain. It was Jacques Demers when he came in that one of the first things he did was recognize that this young man was a special player and a leader.
Well, that's not only good news for the Red Wing fans that Stevie Yzerman is coming back. That is great news for any hockey fan. The class of the Red Wing organization for almost his entire career, which of course he has played as a Red Wing.
And the Canucks have pulled their goaltender, going for the extra attacker. Why not? They're down by 3. They're throwing everything at the Red Wings and Dominik Hasek here. Jovanovski playing like a free safety out of center ice, but he'll move up if the Canucks can get control in deep. It comes to Trevor Linden. He hands it off. Helmer moves it now to Jovanovski. Jovanovski sends it back to Helmer, and Helmer, will he keep it in? Yes, he did. Good job. Centering pass for Letowski. Now moving up Jovanovski. It's knocked away, and it's taken now by Helmer. Helmer winds up, sends it to the corner. Letowski. Now it goes to Castles. Andrew Castles looking for somebody out in front. Here's Letowski. Save. Rebound. Score. Matt Cook has made it 6-4.
Don't go away, folks. Don't go away. Hasek makes the initial save. The rebound sits right in the slot. And Matt Cook bangs it home. The leading Canucks scorer in this series gets himself another goal. You'll see Hasek on all fours make one save. But he's down early. Look at Dominik. He's down early. He has not played a real confident game. Fortunately for Dominik tonight, the Red Wings have scored a ton of goals because he has not looked like the Dom we saw in games 3, 4, and 5. He looks more like the Dom we saw in games 1 and 2. There he's down early. He's guessing, hoping the puck's going to hit him, and he'll be able to freeze it. Because of his position, he could not control the rebound. Went right on the stick of that man right there, Matt Cook, for his 3rd career playoff goal, 3rd of this series. And there's some idiot in the stands is throwing some debris on the ice in front of Dominik.
With a 6-3 score and a lot of time on the clock and getting a goal. So hats off to Mark Crawford. Referee Mick Magoo didn't like that drop of the puck at center ice. You don't often see them redo a center ice face-off like this. But this is one case where possession is so important, especially for Vancouver, and they get it.
That's right. You're absolutely right, Dave.
Nolan pushes it ahead. Bertuzzi gets it deep. Scooter to the bench. Extra attacker. Hasek nearly had it chopped away. And Draper unable to clear. Now it's slapped to Maltby, and he chops it off the boards here. Draper with an open net, and he slides it in wide. It's not icing. Oh, and McCarty not a smart play at all. What is he thinking?
Well, especially when Draper got away with it, short-handed pulling Jovanovski down. We've told you about that one all night long, folks, or since it occurred. And then Darren McCarty, overzealous, and the forecheck gets the loose hand out. No doubt about it. That penalty has to be called. So now it's a 6-on-4 situation. The Canucks, the 2-goal deficit, trying to tie this game up. Draper going for the 7th Red Wing goal. He shoots it wide. And there's McCarty on the forecheck. Pulls Naslund to the ice. And Scotty is biting his tongue right now. He knows that is a bad penalty, and he's just hoping it won't be a costly penalty.
Well, Darren McCarty took a couple of bad penalties in game 1 and helped turn that game around in favor of Mark Crawford's club. Detroit had just scored on a power play in game 1 and took a lead. McCarty, not the exact same kind of play, but he grabbed the jersey of Ed Jovanovski. It put him 1 man short. Then a subsequent penalty put the Wings 2 men short. Mark Crawford's club scored on a 5-on-3. So first of all, you don't want to stop the clock.
No.
Secondly, you don't want to go in the penalty box.
The only thing working in the Wings' favor is that now that they are a man short, if they get possession in the defensive zone, they can ice the puck. So they can take a crack at that empty net or try to get that 7th goal. And if it misses, it will not be an icing call.
Jovanovski now trying to push it ahead. It's blocked by Yzerman. Olin has to circle back. Just over 2 minutes left here in the third period. Wings with a 6-4 lead over the Canucks. But Vancouver on the power play, looking to pull Skudra, and Hasek able to clear it up the middle. And,
right up the middle of
oh boy.
It was a collective breath hold on the Red Wings bench, because Dominic doesn't handle the puck real well. They say, please get over the blue line, and luckily for Hasek and the Red Wings, it did. So the clock now becoming the ally of the Red Wings. Canucks need not 1 goal, folks. They need 2 to tie this one up.
Skudra again is on the bench. 6 attackers against 4. Hasek out to play it. Puts it up on the glass. That hit for Bertuzzi finally comes down to the ice, and the Wings get to it and clear. And Jovanovski has to hustle back after it. A minute remaining in the McCarty penalty. A minute and a half remaining here in the third period. Detroit looking to advance to the second round. Oh, Hasek missed it. The Canucks, though, couldn't capitalize. He's back between the pipes as Vancouver gets control now for Naslund. One-timer, Halmery shot it high, missing it. Oh, baby! Just missed on the angle.
Oh, man.
Chris Chelios tries to clear. Olin holds it in. Now Chelios covers it up. And we'll
time out. He had an exchange of goaltenders a couple of times, buying him seconds, but he can still call that 32nd timeout if the Canucks should happen to get 1 closer to the Red Wing lead.
That play offside, and how close did Todd Bertuzzi come?
I'll tell you what, he was on the south side of Dominic. All they had to do was bang this one into the empty net. All sorts of traffic. Castle's in front. Look at Bertuzzi. Oh, baby. His body was behind the goal line. Had he been about 3 feet the other side of the goal line, he would have gotten better lumber on that and probably been able to bang it into the net. Right now, he's shaking his head saying, oh, my goodness. And they had a chance to cut the lead to 1. Failed to do it.
Wings able to clear. Olin, though, right back for Letowski, and that play offside at the Detroit line.
Well, Dave, we were in here for Game 3. The Vancouver Canucks were up 2 games to none on the Red Wings, and we talked about the golfing analogy of the 20 handicap shooting 38 in the front side. What are they going to do in the back side? Are they going to have another 38 to show that they're legitimately coming down, or are they going to blow up with a 50? Well, they lost the next 3 games, so I think the Canucks still have to get to the driving range and improve their hockey game, but they have had a valiant effort against the Red Wings throughout this series, and certainly in this game tonight. And it isn't over yet, folks. 57 seconds left. I just have so much respect for the Red Wings' ability to hold on to a lead. I'm kind of leaning that way, but anything can happen in this game of hockey. And 2 goals in 50 seconds by the Canucks is not out of the question. They scored 2 in 44 seconds in the first period.
Matt Cook to Bertuzzi. Better off trying to stay on hand. Bertuzzi tried to center. Trevor Linden was out there, and he was alone. Now, what a move.
Man.
And he backhanded over everybody's head down the ice.
What a hockey player. Under pressure, everybody coming to get him, the little fake stick handle, and then he clears the blue line. Stevie Y, you are my inspiration.
It comes back to Cook, knocked away. Yzerman going for the open net, and he fired it wide. And this will be icing because the Wings are back at full strength with McCarty back.
Well, I would bet you dollars to donut that McCarty is not on the ice for the next faceoff after taking that penalty. And right now, McCarty is talking to Bill McCreary, and he's still not sure why the call was made. I thought he was just being aggressive in the forecheck. And the crowd showing great fan support here for their Vancouver Canucks. Whether it's a rallying cry with 19 seconds to go, I don't think so. I think it's just, we appreciate everything you've done for us this year, boys. Remember, at Christmas time, this team 7 games below 500. From January 1st on, they had the best record in the National Hockey League, Dave, so they did everything they could do to get into these playoffs.
And the day after Christmas, Brian Burke had a meeting with the team, and he said, a lot's been made of this, and I don't take credit. But he said, I went in the room and talked to the guys about what we had done the year before when we were so good, what we were doing wrong in the first half of this season. And he said, if you guys get it turned around, I'm going to leave this team alone, keep the players together. As that shot nearly got all the way through to Hasek. And the players did respond. And there were a lot of teams that were battling for those final playoff spots, including the Edmonton Oilers, who didn't get in. Centering pass right through the goal mouth that comes to Helmer, and that's going to do it. The Detroit Red Wings with a 6-4 win here in Game 6, win the series 4-2.
Well, the wake-up call for the Red Wings by the Canucks in winning games 1 and 2, I think will serve